Hi everyone, thanks for watching another video about this CompTIA Security Plus certification. Today we're going to look at some exam questions. We will go over them together and hopefully we can learn from it. This way you have a good idea what you can expect on the exam. Thanks for watching, see you soon. Hi everyone, thanks for checking out another InfoSec Hub video. Today we're going to go into the test number 21. So without further ado, let's go into the exam questions. Which of the following would be of help in preserving the integrity of a digital evidence? Digital evidence, we talk about forensics. That is making an image of the whole entire disk, but that wouldn't be nothing without hashing. That makes sure that the data on that disk is, you make sure data integrity is there. So nothing has changed. Because if the data has changed, then the evidence might not worth much. Which of the alternate site allows for fastest disaster recovery? Fastest disaster recovery. A hot site. So that means like there's basically a second site which is synchronized with production data, and that production data is maybe behind, let's say, for instance, half an hour. So if there's a disaster, you can recover, and then you maybe only lose half an hour of work. So that's called a hot site. It's a second site that's been synchronized with production data. Which of the terms listed below refers to a duplicate of the original site with fully operational computer systems as well as near complete backups of user data? Well, that's basically a hot site. So fully operational system with near complete backups of user data. So near complete saying that half an hour or an hour delay on it. So if there's a disaster, you can go back in time and you only lose maybe 1 hour or half an hour worth of work. A cold site is the most expensive type of backup site for an organization to operate. No, that's not correct. That should be a hot site because, yeah, you have constant backups and synchronization going on basically on a hot site. A cold site isn't. A cold site might be a weekly backup or something. So you lose a week's work, like a load of work. You can go back in time 1 week, for instance. That's a cold site. A disaster recovery facility that provides only the physical space for recovery operations is known as, it's known as disaster, only the physical space for recovery. I'll go for cold site. In a differential backup strategy, restoring data from backup requires only a working copy of the last full backup. That's false. Restoring data from an incremental data backup or backup requires the following. All copies of incremental backups. Where are they? All copies of incremental backups. Yes. And a copy of the last differential backup. Copy of the last full backup. Yes, incremental backup requires all copies of incremental backups made since the last full backup and a copy of the last full backup. Those two combined, if you want to restore data from an incremental backup, you need to have both those copies. What is the function of an archive bit? An archive bit. Good question. This is an indication where a file has been modified since the last backup. That's the function of an archive bit. What type of backups are commonly used with virtual machines? That's easy. That's a snapshot of the virtual machine. If you use VMware, it's very easy to make a snapshot. It's actually just 2 mouse clicks and you have a whole snapshot of the machine. When I was an application manager, we made a snapshot before an update or an installation of a patch. And then we test the patch, and if everything went accordingly and it still functioned correctly, then the snapshot would be removed. And if anything went wrong, then the snapshot would be placed back on the machine, and then nothing basically happened. You wouldn't ruin the state of the machine. This is very, very useful, very handy. Which of the answers listed below refers to examples of deterrent security controls? Warning signs, lightning, and a login banner. Deterrent security controls. What are the examples of preventative security controls? Preventative. OS hardening, so harden your operating system. Separation of duties when it comes to employees, and security guards. So this is really preventative. Continue. Which of the following answers refers to examples of detective security controls? A prevention system, an intrusion prevention system, and let's see what more. Select 3 answers. System logs, not the IPS yet. System logs, security audits, and a CCTV. Detective security controls. So going through the system logs to see what happened, security audits to see what happens, who logs in from what IP at what time, what did they do on the system, what data they accessed, what data they deleted, maybe even what data they changed. And a CCTV is just your average security camera, just to see who entered the building, who entered the server room, who entered the office, things like that. So it's very good to understand the difference between these different security controls. Corrective, here we have the IPS, here we have the intrusion prevention system, here we have the alternative site, and here we have backup recovery. So this is to correct. A prevention system prevents from intruding to the network. It prevents it by blocking those IPs or those ports. Alternative side is when you're being hacked or something happens to your operational side, you switch to an alternative side and keep that way you keep up and running. And backup data recovery, when something happens to your data, when your data is being encrypted by ransomware or whatever, you still have a functional copy somewhere else stored, most preferably on an alternative site, and you keep on moving from there. Which of the following answers refers to a compensating security control? Compensating, that's a backup generator. It compensates for being in lockdown, file lockdown, whatever you want. And with this backup generator, it you make sure that the data is safe and you can go back in time. Most preferably every day. Every day there's a full site backup. Which of the terms listed below do not fall into the category of technical security controls? So not technical. Barricades, not technical, it's physical. Cable locks, for instance, so you can't grab a computer and bring it home, especially handy with laptops. And secure cabinets. So if you have sensitive files can also be like on paper or documentation basically, or USB drives or hard drives, whatever you want. Make sure that they are locked in a secure cabinet. And these are all not technical implementations, they are all physical implementations of security. What are the examples of administrative security control? So administrative. Think about policies or assessments. So we have risk assessments, the escalation of procedures, and contingency planning. These are all administrative security controls. Continue. Which of the following terms do not fall into the category of physical security controls? User password is not physical, it's digital. Encryption is digital. And antivirus software is physical. Which of the following destruction tools or methods allow for secure disposal of physical documents? Physical documents just being on paper, a shredder. The rest is hard drive is digital, low-level formatting. Formatting of hard drives is digital, and degaussing is basically using a very big magnet and going over a hard drive, rendering it useless. And then basically the hard drive is broken. So all the data on it is gone and nobody can reuse it again. Which of the following methods provides the most effective way for permanent removal of data stored on magnetic and magnets? So degaussing, what we just talked about. A quick format is never enough. You can still recover data. Overwriting data is already more effective, but with good software and forensics specialists, you can still get the data back. Formatting, no, degaussing. Really putting a big, very strong magnet and going over the hard drive, and you basically destroy everything. You destroy the hard drive, and with that you remove all the data. Nobody can use it no more. So this is most effective. Which of the acronyms listed below refers to any type of information pertaining to an individual can be used to uniquely identify that person? Biometrics, so iris scan, fingerprint scan, things like that. The U.S. Health Insurance Probability and Accountability Act provides privacy protection for PII. That's I think personal insurance information. Not sure what it stands for, but this is it. Examples of techniques used for encryption information include symmetric. Let's see, that's secret key. False. Wait a second. I think I made a mistake here. This is personal health information. I think it's PHI instead of PII, but not really sure. We'll see very soon. This is false. Let's go to this question. A type of encryption scheme where the same key is used to encrypt and decrypt data is referred to as. It's referred to as session key encryption. It's referred to as symmetric encryption, and is referred to as secret key encryption. Symmetric encryption algorithms require large amounts of processing power for both encryption and decryption of data, which makes them much slower in comparison to asymmetric encryption ciphers. Totally not true. Last question. Which of the following block cipher modes is the simplest, weakest, and therefore not recommended for use? The ECB. That's the oldest and the weakest. Let's go over some of the questions. Here, biometrics, PII. Okay, made that mistake. PHI was good. So only one fault here. Looking good. Well, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you guys in the next video.